Hello, teachers. Session 9. I wear the same shirt every week at this time. Just joking. Session 9, studying 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 12 to 19. And I'm sorry, I'm a little bit silly today. But anyway, this particular lesson covers, like we said, 1 Peter chapter 4, and it's talking about suffering. Yet again, another lesson on persecution from this particular text. And in this, we're learning how we can glorify God while we're suffering. And Peter essentially tells them to do that 3 ways. First, you can do it by being ready. He says in verse 12, "Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. But rejoice inasmuch as ye are partakers of Christ's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy." I love that, because he's essentially saying, if you get persecuted, don't let it surprise you. Jesus was persecuted. If you follow and act like Jesus, you could be persecuted too. And when you do, rejoice. Why? Because you're suffering like he did. You're partakers in that same suffering. And then when his glory shall be revealed, you may be glad with exceeding joy. Why? Because you're going to be rewarded. If you be reproached for Christ, he says, in the name of Christ, happy are ye, for the Spirit of glory and of God resteth upon you. And on their part he is evil spoken of, but on your part he is glorified. When the persecutors are persecuting you, they see it as like something to be punished, something that you're doing wrong, something that's evil. But in terms of God and the way he sees you, this is glorying. This is something you get to do. This is something you're going to be rewarded for one day. And so he says, essentially to them, before it potentially is happening or as it's happening to them, hey, be ready for it, because this is, you're going to experience it. And as you experience it, it's going to be good for you in the long term. In the eternity, it's going to be an amazing thing. You are being most like Jesus when you are suffering for righteousness' sake. And so when you're giving in that way. So he says, be ready. He also says to be righteous, You see that in verse number 15. "But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other man's matters." He's saying, now, if you're getting persecuted because you're doing wrong, that's not persecution. It's suffering, but it's not persecution. You're getting hurt by it, but it's because you've done wrong. "Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God on this behalf." What is he saying? He's saying there's a difference between suffering for your sin and suffering for Christ. If you're suffering for Christ, there's no reason to be embarrassed. In fact, that's something you can rejoice in, because you're able to glorify God in that particular way. So we're supposed to be ready. We're supposed to be righteous. The last one is this: be assured. He says in verse 17, "For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of God. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear?" What he's saying is, among Christians, we should hold each other accountable for how we act. We should make sure to help each other not to be sinful. We should hold each other accountable. He says, "Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of God commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing, as unto a faithful creator." I love that phraseology. He's essentially saying, if you're going to suffer, and you're doing it for God's will, you do it believing that God's going to take care of you, that your soul itself will not be lost as you suffer, that you're going to do what's right, that God's going to keep you secure in doing that's right, even if you end up losing your life. And he says, as unto a faithful creator, the God that made you can sustain you, can help you, can give you life again. If someone once said, and it's well said, that if God can create the world with the word, right? In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God said, let the light and divide from the dark. He said all these things to create. Then he can resurrect. That's no problem. He can do miracles. He can do whatever he wants. And so we can trust him as a faithful creator. And as we go through suffering, trusting that God can keep us, that God can protect us, that God can get us through that, and that he won't let my soul be lost. His promises are fast. He will hold us fast, right? That's what we can be assured of, that even when we go through difficulty, he will keep us. I love Peter's very straightforward nature. He's pretty forward thinking. He's pretty clear. It's amazing to watch him go from the Peter in the Gospels to this Peter who is the apostle, who's grown in wisdom and godliness and has such good, strong, straightforward teaching for us. What a joy it's been to go through First Peter. And we need to be ready for persecution when we come. We need to make sure that we're righteous, not suffering for bad, but maybe suffering for good. And then being assured that as we suffer, God's going to keep us. He's going to take care of us. We can commit our souls to him because he's a faithful creator. I hope that helps you think through the lesson and apply these things to your life before you teach them to others. Thanks.